I'm so excited for this. This is something I've taught at Marquis Jet, a company that I had, to my employees, principles that I've used over the last 35 years in business, still use them today. And even if you're not in business, you're going to get some amazing value out of this, because we're talking about human capital today and how to build relationships, how to network, how to prospect, how to get retention if you are in business. And I think anybody listening to this call is going to really benefit greatly from what we're going to talk about today. For those that don't know me, I'm Jesse Itzler. I've had a very unconventional journey as an entrepreneur. You might know me through jumping in cold water or doing saunas, or as an author, or doing endurance races, or maybe from my wife. But the reality is I've been in business for 35 years. I've bootstrapped it in some businesses. I've raised money in others. I've been partners with people, public companies. I've also done it myself. So I've seen a lot over the years. And what I love about what we're going to talk about today is all the tactics and strategies that I'm going to share with you guys are things that you can implement immediately, that won't cost any money to do, that anybody can do it no matter where you are on your journey. And if you did everything the same this year, but you add some of the strategies and tactics we're about to talk to, I almost guarantee with 100% certainty you will get results. Now, all 10 of the things that I'm going to talk about, by the way, I have 10 specific things I want to talk about, but then I'm going to add 2 extra things at the end: how to dominate a meeting, how to take control of a meeting in 30 seconds or less, and the art of the elevator pitch. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. So I should have probably renamed this, Harvard Business School in 60 minutes, but I didn't want to get sued. But I really feel like you're going to get that kind of information here. Before we get started, I want you guys, when I say guys, I mean guys and girls, to know that I'm nervous. I still get nervous. Even at 54 years old, I still get nervous because this matters to me. And when you take money from somebody, I don't care if it's $99 or $99,000, you got to bring it. You have a responsibility to pour everything into it. Taking money from people comes with responsibility. And our standard for whatever we do is all in. It's all in. And if you think you can take days off because you charge $99 or $1 or $7, or it's free, or you're talking to 5 people or 50,000 people, if you think you could take time, take it off or take a rep off, you're wrong. Because that creates an environment in your head that you're allowed to not be at your best. That gives you an out. And I don't believe in outs. So all I can promise is for 60 minutes, I'm going to give the best that I can give. I'm going to pour everything into this. And I expect the same from you guys, no matter what you do. Even if you think that task is small. I built entire businesses on caring the most. And don't underestimate that. And, I still get nervous because this matters to me, man. So I want to open up before we get started with a quick story, real-time story. First of all, today is the 1-year anniversary of my father's death. So, I just want to let everybody here know I'm still thinking about my dad today. And he's very much on my mind. This morning, I was taking my son to school. It's about a 40-minute drive to school. And this will lead right into what we want to talk about today. I was taking my son, and it's great bonding time with me and my son. So I asked him, his name is Laser. I said, Laze, what do you have first period today? And he said, I have literature. And I said, well, he said, yeah. He said, should be interesting today. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I didn't do my reading assignment last night and write my summary for my reading assignment. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, Dad, I didn't have time. And I'm thinking to myself, last night we played soccer for an hour. You went in the sauna with Mom and I for 40 minutes. And then you went in the hot tub with your brothers and sister. Like, what do you mean you didn't have time? I said, well, do it now. We have a 30-minute. I said, how long is the reading assignment? He goes, it's 15 minutes. I go, we have 30 minutes to get to school. Do it now. So he pulls out his phone. I'm thinking he's going to, pull up the reading. And he goes to an audiobook. An audiobook. And he starts listening to the audiobook. And then he says, Dad, check this out. And he hits 2 times speed. And the book starts reading like this. And 7.5 minutes later, he goes, I'm all done. And I said, you got to be kidding me, man. When I was growing up, if I had a reading assignment and I had to summarize it, my mom had to drive me to the library. And then I had to get an encyclopedia. And then I had to like read and write it and highlight it and all this stuff. And this guy just 2 times the speed and he's done. And he checked the box. And it reminded me of a famous quote that I heard from Warren Buffett at a conference where he said, you don't get rich fast, you get rich slow. Networking and business and making money takes time. You got to plant seeds all over the place and give them time for those relationships to grow, not just in business, in everything. It doesn't like this. It doesn't just, for some people, maybe you see this on Instagram, it happens like this. That's not the reality. I'm a big believer in planting seeds and having a long-term approach, playing the long game, being patient. And I learned that from my childhood. And I hope my son and our children and us aren't getting tainted by everything has to happen fast. So the strategies that I'm going to share with you right now, they're about seed planting. And if you plant enough seeds, do everything you're doing the same, but you do these strategies, you're going to see these seeds turn into flowers and trees, and you'll reap the fruits of the labor down the road. Now, I don't expect everybody to do all 10 of the things I'm about to share. There might be 1 or 2 of these that resonate with you. I do all 10, or I've done all 10 in my life, and I do the majority of them now. But I'm telling you, they work, and I have 35 years of experience to back it up. So the first thing is, every year I have a Hot 50 list. For some of you, it might be a Hot 25 list, but I make a list of the people in my life that I know that can move the needle in my business. That might be a manufacturer. That might be an assistant that is the gatekeeper to someone I want to have a meeting with. That might be someone in charge of the supply chain. That might be a PR person, a radio DJ that has a big platform, an influencer on Instagram. I make a list of 50 people, my Hot 50 list, and every quarter, every couple of months, I schedule this, I reach out to them. I touch base with them on a call, on a text, a letter, a DM, something, because I want to stay on the radar of the people that can move the needle in my business. Because when I need something, I don't want to call them out of left field playing defense. I don't want to be like, oh, you're only calling me because you need a favor. I want to be like, no, I'm always in a rhythm with you. So when I reach out to you, it's in the natural correspondence of that. So I keep a Hot 25, Hot 50 list. And every quarter I make sure that I reach out to these folks. And I'll tell you, that also gives me permission if I see that person out at a restaurant, at a bar, in a conference or a convention, I could say to them, hey, Megan Yangani, or I could say, hey, Joel Stone, or hey, Jacob O'Neill, I sent you this text, not sure if you got, it gives me permission to approach them on the offense. So I highly encourage everybody here to make a list of the people that can move the needle in your business. And by the way, it might only be a handful of people right now, but as you get older and evolve, that list will grow. Your network will grow. And if you can't identify who those people are, that's a bigger problem. You should be able to know right away. I should be able to say to Carlos Finn right away, man, who are the 5 or 6 people in your life that really impact your business? Are you staying connected to those people? Now, it sounds so ridiculously obvious, okay? But I'm telling you, man, people lose touch with me and they re-hit me in 10 years when they need something, and it doesn't hit me right. It doesn't hit me right. Stay connected. Number 2, DM people. DM is the new email. In the old days, it was easy. You could cold call people and usually get them on the phone or get an answering machine. In my era, an answering machine. But now people have a lot of layers and it's hard to get people on the phone. But DMing on Instagram or on a social media, the open rate on a text 98% of texts get open and read within 3 minutes. So if you send 100 texts, 98 people will read that text within 3 minutes. The open rate on an email is about 20%. The open rate on a DM on Instagram is about 88%. So the best way, most people, most influencers, most people in general have people checking their emails, have people answering their calls, but they don't give up their passcode to their social media. They check their own DMs. I check my own DMs. So when you DM somebody, there's a much better chance that you're going to get a response. I'll share a story with you. I got a DM a couple of years ago from somebody I'd never met in my life who is in the ad specialty business. That means he makes promotional products with corporate logos on pens, shirts, hats, etc. I have a lot of friends that are in that industry. This guy DMs me on a cold DM. He says, Jesse, I have a business. I started it myself. I'm really looking for an anchor client, customer that I could really over deliver on. If you send me your logo, I'll send you a box of goods showing you what I can do. Well, that's a no-lose situation, not a win-win. I don't believe in win-wins. A win-win could be lots. If Jamie Torres gives me something, hey, Jamie, up here where I'm going to win here, but Jamie's going to win all the way up here, that's not really a win-win. That's a much bigger win for Jamie. He presented a no-lose. I love no-lose situations. I give him my logo and he sends me back a bunch of samples. A week later in FedEx, I get a box with my logo on the most unbelievable gear I've ever seen. He got the entire 29029, my company account. I never met the guy in my life. I don't know him. I have friends in the space. He gave me a no-lose situation through a DM. DMing people work. Now, I would have said text people, but it's a lot harder to get people always say, well, how do I get someone's text number? Well, nowadays you can get almost any text number, but it's a lot easier to just go to Instagram, which is my preferred method of communication, and going to, Richard Bissett's account and DMing Richard Bissett. He's going to get it. Number 3, have a hometown restaurant. Have a restaurant in your community that you can go to anytime you want with a client, with a prospect for an interview and get a reservation. Build a relationship at a hot restaurant in your town. So when you walk in there with a customer after a sale, you're the frigging king, man. You walk in, oh, hey, Jesse, oh, Mr. Itzler's here. Hey, Mr. Itzler, come on in. We've been waiting for you. Good to see you. Are you going to have the regular today? Or you could call up and say, Mario Miniart is, my friend Mario's coming tonight for a party at 4. Can I get him a table? We're crowded tonight. Oh, Mr. Itzler, we'll sit Mario. We'll fit him in. You want to have a place that you go to that's your Cheers, your version of Cheers. So when you go in and you have prospects and you have clients, you don't have to worry about like, oh my God, there's a mistake. You don't want to be embarrassed. You want to be the king. So you want to, and the way I establish those relationships, it could be going in and saying to the maitre d', pulling him aside and saying, sir, my name is Jesse Itzler. I love this restaurant. I live locally. I support local businesses. I love coming here. I want to introduce myself. Love to get your number so I could deal with you directly or refer people to you. I want to go to the right person and refer more business. You guys have been amazing to me. Or you could give them a holiday tip with a card saying, sir, I've been coming here for 6 months. You don't know me, but the service has been unbelievable. And slowly but surely over time, you own the restaurant without owning the restaurant. Very important, man. Very important and very underrated. Number 4, hotspots. I just posted something about this. Hotspots are free. So in every town, and I posted this and I'll share a little bit about the story. There's certain restaurants or bars or meeting areas or clubs where where the superstars go, the deal makers go, the movie stars go, the moguls go, the people in your industry go, and very often they're free. So the story that I shared on Instagram, and I'll share it quickly, is when I was living on my friend's couch in Los Angeles in Beverly Hills, when I was 21 years old, he took me to the Beverly Hills Hotel to a restaurant, and I ordered a salad. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my God, that's the head of Walt Disney Studios. That guy is the head of Warner Brother Records. That's The Rock. Like, how am I here? I don't need to be a guest at the hotel to come here. I can order an $8 salad and a fresh squeezed orange juice and sit at this table for 2 hours and learn and watch the mannerisms and get my face familiarity with all these folks. And that became my office. I started going there every day and people would recognize me. And then ultimately 2 years down the road, you look familiar in a meeting. How do I know? I think I know you from the Polo Lounge, but did you just go to the Polo Lounge? Yeah. And now I'm connected. I'm sleeping on my friend's couch. I have $38 in my bank account. And now I'm in the room with the moguls. There's hot spots like that all over and events all over. You could buy the cheap seats to a New York Knicks game all the way in the Blues for $49. You don't even have to go. You can go to the US Open and buy the cheapest seats and don't even go to your seats. Go to the cafeteria, go to the bar, go where the people are. And that you're putting yourself in a situation where good things can happen. There are spots like that all over. And what that does is it puts you in proximity. And it also makes you feel like you belong. It starts to feel and pick up the energy of what these people that have earned the right to be there, even though you might feel like you don't have that right, are doing there. Number 5 is create your own luck. Some of you might have heard this story before, but when I was looking for my first sale at Marquis Jets, I didn't have a sophisticated way to get leads. So the only way for me to get leads was to go where wealthy people were that could afford time on a private jet. Like we were selling a product that cost north of $100,000. And I heard about a conference in Monterey, California called TED. And I heard that a lot of wealthy people go to the TED conference in Monterey, California, qualified buyers. So I flew out there and I get there and I don't have a credential. I didn't realize that you need a credential to go to this conference. So they're not letting me anywhere near the building, which I thought was ridiculous. Like you need a credential to go to here, whatever. So I go to this coffee shop and thinking like, you know, like we don't negotiate our goals. Everybody on this call, if we have a goal, it's non-negotiable. Like the plot might change and the story might change, but the end of the goal is unwavering. Like I'm leaving here with a sale. No matter, we don't dummy down our goals because things get hard. Like you're not letting me in the conference. I'm still leaving here with a sale. So I noticed that every hour, a wave of people are coming in with these credentials from the TED conference and they're ordering lattes and muffins. Lattes and muffins. They're all ordering lattes and muffins. Huh. So the next morning I get up at 5 o'clock, I go back to the coffee shop and I buy all the muffins from the coffee shop. I now control all the muffin inventory in Monterey, California, and I wait. An hour and a half later, a wave of people come in and the first guy orders a latte and a muffin. The lady says, sir, I can give you a latte, but we're all out of muffins. He says, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. He's walking out and I stop him. I said, I overheard you. I'm sorry. I happen to have an extra muffin if you want a muffin. He's like, you got to be kidding me. I said, no. He said, it's like, you have an extra muffin. I'm thinking to myself, I got 180 under the table, man. I got all the muffins. So he says, what are you doing here? I said, I'm here for the TED conference. He says, you got to be kidding me. I says, what do you do? I said, I have a private jet company called Marquis Jet. He says, you got to be kidding me. I'm in the market for a private jet. I look at his name tag and it says Josh Koppelman. And I recognize the name because he had just been in the Wall Street Journal for selling his company, half.com, to eBay for $1 bazillion. And he goes, do you mind if I sit down and learn a little bit more about your jet company? And I'm like, absolutely not, Mr. Qualified. Sit right here. He was my first sale in the history of the company. Now, that is not a story about me being a good sales rep. I'm not. I'm back of the pack sales. I'm back of the pack everything. I'm back of the pack everything. That's an example of me putting myself in a situation where I can create luck. Luck doesn't happen Sunday night watching the Kardashians on your couch. It happens when you put yourself in an environment where you can attract good things, and then you have to take advantage of it. So you want to make sure you stay in touch with the 50 people that can move the needle. You want to make sure that you DM people all the time. To that point, here's one thing that I do on the DMs that I want to just mention that I think will be a really important tactic. I spend about 3 minutes every day DMing or texting people. I also do emails and handwritten letters. I'll get to that in a minute. But I spend about 3 minutes, and all of my communication, listen to me here, is one way. I don't ask for anything. If I hear that Heather Hansen loves to surf, I might send her a YouTube clip that I saw about surfing. If I know that Kristen Spann loves health and wellness, Kristen, you might be interested in this. I saw this new vitamin that's really, unique. Maybe you might just thought you would like it. It's one way. Now, if I spend 3 minutes a day and send 3 DMs or texts, in a month, I will reach 100 people. In a year, I'll reach over 1,000 people. Now, I'm not saying they're all going to be clients, customers, or help you with your business, but you need one. I'll get to that in a minute. You need one. So the consistency of investing 3 minutes a day to send, and I still do that. I do it in Carpool Line. So I still do that every day. I still have a hometown restaurant. I still go in situations that, create luck for myself. I still go to the hot spots, not as much, but I still do it. But I always am consistent on emailing and staying in touch with people. Really, really important. Handwritten letters. There's something different that go into writing a handwritten letter than an email. First of all, just the energy of it, getting a pen and a piece of paper, taking the time to write it down, getting a stamp, licking the envelope, going to the mailbox, putting it in the mailbox. Like the energy that goes into that is a lot different than blah, 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 send. It just is. And we talked about the open rates for DMs and text. The open rate for a direct mail piece is about 90%. The open rate for a personal letter, I don't know the statistics on it, but it's got to be close to 100%. When you get a letter, when's the last time you didn't open up a letter that came in your mailbox? When I was in my 20s, my entire marketing campaign was writing 10 handwritten letters a day. I wrote 3,000 handwritten letters when I was 23 years old, 10 a day, 3,000. And let me tell you something, to this day, at the end of the year, I still write 30 letters every year at the end of the year to people that impacted me throughout the year. Could be someone I don't know, a podcaster. It could be because I'm always planting seeds. I'm always planting seeds. No one's ever said to me, Jesse, you're a jerk for sending me that thank you note. Jesse, I'm mad at you for sending me the link to the surf video, to the vitamin clip. I've never gotten that DM. Instead, I'm like, wow, thank you for thinking of me. Jesus, no, my closest friends haven't written me a handwritten letter. Man, I can't believe with everything going on in your life, you took the time to write me a letter. Handwritten letters matter. Number 7, I compliment, I congratulate, and I console people in my life. My kids, my teammates, my prospects, my clients. I do these 3 things to get into their life. I compliment them, I congratulate them, and I console them. What does that mean? Greg Austin, it's Jesse Itzler. Hey, Greg, just want to let you know, man, you're an unbelievable dad. And as a father of 4, I love the way you parent. Like, it's super. I've known you for 15 years, man. And it's so inspiring to see the way that you go through life as a dad. I just want to let you know, I really look up to you for that. Greg isn't on the cover of the Wall Street Journal and everyone's hitting him and he feels obligated to respond to them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He doesn't even know he didn't win the Super Bowl like Tom Brady and everyone's responding and he's just like over. We authentically reach out to people in our inner circle and we compliment them on things that authentically matter to us at a time where nobody else is doing it. You congratulate, Greg, I heard your kids got into Duke University. Man, if my kids get into Duke, I'd be on cloud nine. Sarah and I are on cloud nine for you and your family for getting into Duke. And you console. Man, I had one of the worst things happen that could happen to a parent. I get a knock on my door the next day. It's my friend Dougie Fresh, the rapper. And there he is. I said, Doug, what are you doing here? He said, when you get news like that, you don't call. You show up. If you have somebody in your life that's grieving and you don't reach out to them, shame on you. And they'll never forget it, ever. They will never, ever forget it. So I compliment, I congratulate, and I console. And at Marquis Jet, when I had nothing, I started doing that. And guess what happened? Over time, my customers started giving me the magic word. They started giving me a referral. And when things were going bad with my business, they stuck with me. They rooted for me. Businesses can be transactional. Relationships can't. And when you build deep, authentic, meaningful relationships with people, the floodgates open. I'm not even talking about business, emotionally, spiritually, across the board, man. Joker, joker, joker. The floodgates open. So you start to compliment and console and congratulate, and you get into people's lives, man. And they root for you. They make you part, they want you to be part of the team. Human capital, man. Listen, that doesn't live on a spreadsheet. Soul, caring, you can't fake that stuff, man. It doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. That's up to you. And if you do it really good, the floodgates open. Number 8, you got to learn how to handle the lows. And as entrepreneurs, as parents, as college students, disappointment is a big part of life. Disappointment's been stripped from kids. They make every team, they get participation trophies. Where I live, it's mandatory. You got to invite every kid to every birthday party. Disappointment's a part of life. Your kids, if you have children, anybody here in the chat room have kids, by the way, or show of hands? Yeah, they got to experience disappointment. As an adult, how we handle the lows, and newsflash, all 315 people on this call are going to deal with hardships in business. Hardships can be the biggest opportunity. Listen to me. They can be the biggest opportunity you will ever have to win over customers. They will be the biggest opportunity to be an example to your team. They will be the biggest opportunity to be a hero to yourself. When I started, I'll use Marquis Jet just because it's top of mind, but I have 1,000 examples of this, and we can handle some in Q&A. I'm just warming up, by the way. Usually takes me about 30, and now I'm clicked in. I'm locked in here. There was a guy named, and I'm going to use his name, and I'm sure he's comfortable with me using his name. Arn Tellem. Arn Tellem was the biggest sports agent in the 90s. He represented about 20% of Major League Baseball players, NBA, he had everybody, Kobe, everybody, NBA, everybody. Arn Tellem, I'm just starting this company. I'm 29 years old. I'm green. I'm not battle tested. I don't know shit. Arn Tellem has been through wars, man, business wars. He calls up, he says, I want to demo your product. I want to fly on your plane from California to Duke University. He has a meeting with the guy that's going to be the first pick in the NBA draft. The guy would be worth millions, tens of millions to Arn's agency. The athlete has narrowed it down to 3 agents. So Arn is a finalist. He's meeting at one of the agents at 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. If you're a minute late, you're done. Now there's 2 agents left. Arn wants to demo the flight. If he likes the flight and the experience, he's going to buy a jet card from us. I have one customer at the time, Josh Koppelman. Arn takes the trip. I get a call from Arn Tellem on the runway. He is livid. There's a problem with the airplane. He goes, I got a call from your team. There's a 9-hour delay. We can't get an airplane and a pilot there for 9 hours. And he is going, this guy's the #1 pick. I'm going to miss the thing. He's going crazy. I said, Arn, this is the first I'm hearing about it. Let me call my team. I will call you in 5 minutes. Listen, crisis management 101. You get in front of the problems. You don't hide behind your email. You don't hide behind a phone call. You get in front of your problems, okay? My team tells me what happens. There's a 9-hour delay. I call him back. I'm 29 years old. I said, Arn, this is Jesse. I spoke to my team, and what they're telling you is true. I said, there's a mechanical issue and we'll never compromise safety. I said, Arn, the nature of this business is that 99% of the flights go off without a glitch, but 1% of all airplanes break or have a mechanical. I would trade you being the 1% with me for a year if I could do it. I'm shaking, Arn, but I can't. But we would never compromise safety. Arn, I'm 29 and I just started this company. If you could ever give me another chance to make this up for you, I'll do everything in my power to make sure that you and your family and your customers have an unbelievable experience. But anyone that tells you that you're going to go without an issue with your airplane, with weather, it's just not going to happen. And that's the truth of the industry. And something clicked. And he said, you know what? If that guy doesn't want me as an agent because my airplane broke, I don't want him as a client. A week later, Arn signs with Marquis Jet. And he's so smart. He became a great friend of mine and a mentor. He's so smart. He found the glitch in one of the rules where you could write in a tax break using airplane hours. This is true. Somehow as a tax credit. And he started writing it into shoe deals. Kobe Bryant, 100 hours. Tracy McGrady, 250, 7 jet cards, 10 jet cards. He single-handedly changed my business from a broken plane. The way you handle the lows are the greatest opportunities to win a customer. And they feel like the biggest nightmare. Get in front of the problems. Be honest. Give a solution. And watch what happens. Number 9, we follow up on everything. When I say we, like you guys you're part of my team, man. You're here trusting me. Like we follow up on everything. When we have a meeting, we write a thank you note or we send a text or a DM. If we meet somebody in an elevator and we get a card, we follow up. You would be amazed at how many people meet with me and I never hear from them again. Send them something. Follow up on them. I love to do the unexpected. You see, when people say to me, I had an issue, someone sent me something into my thing and we followed up, customer service followed up, or we took care of this problem, or we sent the customer what they ordered and they're proud of that. I'm like, what the hell are you? You're supposed to do that. But you have brownie points for doing your job? Everybody does that. Your competition does that. Do the unexpected. Do the unexpected. When Josh Koppelman, the guy who bought the first card at Marquis Jet, went to Mexico, he expected me to pick up his calls. It's my job. He expected me to return his emails. That's my job. He expected me to carry his bag to the airplane when I met him at the air. It's my job, but he didn't expect this. When he went to Mexico, he didn't expect the list of pediatricians. Josh, here's 10 pediatricians that I vetted. I know you have 2 kids. If anything happens to one of your children, here's a list of 10 doctors that I've gotten through referrals that you can call. I made a reservation at every hot restaurant at 8 o'clock at night for two. Josh, 8 o'clock, anywhere you want to go, man. Any of these restaurants? How'd you get it? I got you, man. 8 o'clock any night. You and your wife want to go. He didn't expect that. When I'm on a podcast, the normal protocol is for someone or anybody, not me, take me out of it. Take me out. Peter Beeson is on a podcast. Hey, Pete. Usually, Lewis Howes would be like, thank you, Peter, for being on my podcast. I send Lewis Howes a watch. Man, thank you for thinking of me. He's like, what are you talking about? No, there's 8 billion people in the world, and you chose me to be on your podcast. Thank you. Do the unexpected. Freak out the freaker. Freak out the freaker. See, I'm trying to get you guys to think out of the norm, to think like, what could I do differently that fits my personality and my DNA, that feels authentic to me, to build deep relationships. Someone made me an all-day running. Was that you, Richard, that made me the all-day running company bowl? No, it was Scott. They made an all-day running company smoothie bowl and gave it. It was amazing. I'll never forget it. I eat out of it every day. He didn't ask me. He did the unexpected. And number 10, in your 20s, anybody here in the 20s, by the way, show of hands. Anybody in the 20s? A couple of people. Anybody in your 30s? What's up, Jordan? Anybody in your 40s? Okay. All right. I was there. I've been in my 20s, been in my 30s, been in my 40s, 50s, me. Your 20s are a great time to say yes. And even your 30s, you want to network. You want to go to as much stuff as you can. You want to get out there. In my 20s, I said yes to everything. In my 50s, I say no. Because in my 50s, I want to put more on my plate of what I love to do with the people I love to do it with. And if I say yes to everything, you know, even if it's 15 minutes a day, someone, oh, can I pick your brain for just 15 minutes? Well, that's like 108 hours a year. I'm not giving up 100. You know what I could do in 108 hours a year? You guys know the rule of 100. In 100 hours, in anybody know the rule of 100? The rule of 100 states, if you do any discipline, play the violin, karate, archery, I don't care what you pick. If you do it for 100 hours in a year, you'll be better than 95% of the world's population in that discipline. It doesn't mean you're going to be a world champion MMA fighter or the best pianist in the world or whatever, but you'll be better than 95% of the world's population. You think I'm going to give that up? I always say if I do that from 54 to 80, I'm Jason Bourne. I've mastered like 30 things. I'm the best in the world. I'm the top 5% in the world of 30 things, man. I'm Jason Bourne. So you have to learn how to say no. But if you're anything like me, you don't like to say no. I don't like to disappoint people. I'm actually scared to say no. Oh, Jesse's such a jerk, man. He couldn't give me 15 minutes of his time. There's an art to saying no. I'm going to teach it to you right now. So first of all, I have an assistant. I'm fortunate enough to have an assistant, and I understand that people don't. But I don't hide behind my assistant for big no's. If it's a big no and I can't go to a wedding or whatever, I do that myself. Okay? I don't hide behind my nose. Dave, hey man, I know how, and by the way, I show up for big things. I'm just using this as a radical example. I show up for big things. But Dave, I know how important this is to go to the wedding. I tell him, you know, like I do that. But when you say no, first of all, you don't have to give a reason why. Okay? I don't need to give Carlos Finn a reason why I can't go to dinner. I don't have to tell Jacob O'Neill why I can't go to the Hawks game. They don't need to know why. I could just be like, Jacob, man, I would thank you so much for the invite, but I can't make it on Thursday. So Jacob O'Neill invites me to dinner Thursday night with 5 friends. But guess what? Thursday night, I want to order in Chinese food and watch a replay of 60 Minutes. Jacob, I wish I could go, man. Thank you so much for the invite. I just can't make it on Thursday. I don't have to tell him why. I'm certainly not going to lie about it. Jacob goes to the dinner Thursday night with 4 friends. But I know where he's going because he invited me. So now I call the restaurant and say, hey, my friend Jacob is there with 4 friends. I'd love to buy the guys around a dessert. I want to buy dessert for the table. Can you leave this note? Hey, Jake, sorry, man. We're thinking about you guys. Wish I could be there. Thanks for inviting me. Wanted to get you guys dessert. Much love, Jesse. Now I'm not even at the I'm eating my Chinese food, watching 60 Minutes. I'm the hero of the dinner. Holy cow. This guy thought about us. He brought us around the drinks. He picked up the bill. Now I'm the hero of the dinner and I'm not even there. These are all really important things. So these are all things that I've done throughout my journey and still do today. I have a lot more that I can share with you guys, but I think are really important. And like I said, you might not want to have a hot 50 list. You might not want to go to the hot spots, but you sure as hell should be investing 3 minutes a day and planting seeds and DMing people. You sure as hell should be writing some handwritten letters. You sure as hell should know about crisis management and how to turn a low into a high. You sure as hell should be putting yourself in situations where you can create luck. Okay? You sure should be complimenting, congratulating, consoling people so Joel Stone could get into, and who's this? Michelle Piscini could get into the lives of their customers and prospects so they root for you. I mean, it might sound basic and ridiculous, but if you do all of these things or a couple of them and everything you've already been doing. Now, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. Part of being an entrepreneur is figuring out how to speed up the process, how to get from A to B the fastest. And I'm a big believer in that. There's certain things like, how do you speed it up? But there's also things that have a long-term approach. And networking and building your influence and building your business happens over time. And it happens by planting seeds, following up, investing in human capital, caring the most, pouring your soul into things, giving all your effort, okay? And slowly but surely, not everyone's going to return your DM. Not everyone's going to respond to your handwritten letter. You might get 850 no responses over the 1,000 that you sent, but you might get 10 that really matter. By the way, Arn Tellem. How did Arn Tellem come to Marquis Jet? I wrote him a letter 5 years before that as a kid. Arn, man, I really admire what you're doing with your agency and your business. You know, I was a little bit cheating because we both sold our company to the same guy, but he didn't know me, you know, and now that I'm working indirectly under your tutelage, I hope I get a chance to work with you more directly in the future. Several years later, he changes my business. I don't think that's a coincidence. He was on my radar. I stayed on his radar. Okay. Now, I want to share 2 more things that I think are really important, and then you can put questions. By the way, this is weird for me because I'm not getting, I don't usually like there's an audience, you hear like, oh, well, boo, yay. If this is resonating, let me know in the chat room, clap, give me something. I have no idea how I'm doing here. Okay, thank you, Peter. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm sure, look, by the way, I'm talking fast because like my son did in the car, I'm trying to get as much as I can. I was on a webinar last week, so I wanted to model this after. I bought 10 different courses in the last month because I wanted to see what other people are doing, and I wanted to, have something to model this after. I've never done a live webinar before, and about 80% of them were people up. I'm not knocking anybody, but about half of them were trying to sell people into other stuff. I want to give as much value as I can. So if I'm going quickly, I apologize. You're going to get a replay of this, and I'm going to open it up for questions, and we can take that, as much time as we can. I'll answer as many questions as we can. So put them in the chat room. 2 more things that I want to say real quick. And then anything I didn't cover that you guys want to do, I'll answer real time here. Thank you guys. I'm reading it. Thank you in the chats. So how to dominate a meeting in 30 seconds or less. So, and I know not everybody here is an entrepreneur, but everybody here is going to have a meeting at some point in their life. It's amazing to me. I had somebody come to my house to do a podcast. I'm a 54-year-old guy. I have 4 kids. I've had egg on my face, man. I've been through it all. I really feel that way. And this kid comes in, I'm on his podcast. And he's like, yeah. Oh, this is how he greeted me. Dude. Yeah. What's up, bro? First of all, look at this, man. Do I look like a bro? I'm 54. Could be a grandfather. I'm not your bro. I don't know you. When you go into a meeting, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Warren Buffett walking into a meeting. Warren Buffett or whoever needs to be respectful and needs to know the audience. All right? When you walk into a meeting, when you go into a meeting, it sounds so ridiculous even saying this. You stand up. You're at someone's meeting. We had a rule at Marquis Jet. We don't sit for meetings. If I'm in the lobby, I'm standing up because if I have to sit, it's low energy. They come in, I got to adjust my tie, flutter around. No, I'm ready to go. I'm excited about the opportunity to meet with whoever I'm meeting. If I'm meeting with Jamie Monroe or Brandon Nichols or Wendy Callan, I'm excited, man. I want to know what we're going to talk about. So I'm standing up. Now, here's the trick. Now, you could do this however you want to do it, but this is my little thing. And I don't think it's manipulation. This is just my thing. I walk into a meeting. Let me use Peter Beeson again, just because I'm looking at him. Pete, we're walking to the office, or I walk into the office and I'm about to sit down. Pete, oh man, I'll just use a real-time example. It's the 1-year anniversary of my dad's death. So if I'm off, I'm a little, remember like the last time I saw my dad, he came to my house and I had to get him ready to go to bed and took his shoes off and he was cold. So I got him a blanket and it kept me up all night. And last night I was up all night too, just thinking about that time I was with my dad, helping him get ready for bed. But it's an honor to be here, man. Maybe I wouldn't start with a downer, but I'm just using that as an example. In that 30 seconds, I already told Pete Beeson. He already knows probably I'm a family man. My priorities are right. I'm loyal, probably someone he can trust, probably someone he wants to do business with. We haven't even started the meeting. And I've already said everything he needs to know about me. Pete, I just got off I'm riding my bike across America in 5 weeks with my friends. So I've been training really hard. So I'm super sore. So it really feels good to sit down. He already knows this guy's got big goals. He's a friggin' savage. I want to know more about this guy. Pete, I'm walking into the meeting. My son has anxiety. We had a crazy day this morning but he got out of the car. He went to school. Life is good. I'm saying a lot about me and the meeting hasn't even started. You see what I'm saying? So all the probing questions he might have to ask me, tell me, he already knows what he needs to know, man. So use that time to take control. I can do that for anybody here. I could create an opening with anybody, 2 or 3, whether you're an introvert, whether you feel like you have nothing to share, anything real about you is what you want to do. Not, yo, bro, yo, fuck out of here with that. Get out of here with that, man. I'm serious. Be yourself. If you're quirky, be quirky. If you're a single mom, share that. I'm a single mom. It's been, if you're nervous, like I said at the beginning of the call, let them know. They're humans. There's 8 billion people in the world, man. Be you. I hate when people try to imitate other people. Be you. Now, I want to shift really quickly because I want to be mindful of everybody's time. And I want to make sure that I can get to some Q&A, and I can, about an elevator pitch. So first of all, in public speaking, I'm going to give you guys a quick tutorial in public speaking. When I was in college, I took a public speaking class. I needed 3 credits, and my friend was like, take the public speaking class. It's so easy. It was a throwaway class. It was the most important class, last class I took in college I ever took. Barbara Davis taught it. I've been trying to track her down, by the way. I can't find her. She'd freak out if she saw what I'm doing now. She'd be like, wow, this worked. But she simplified public speaking into 4 things. It was her, everybody has their own style, but this has been my thing. And take note if you want. When you public speak, you want to open up with an icebreaker. I did it today about my story about Laser in the car, how we went to fast forward. You didn't even realize it. It was an icebreaker. Got a little, told you a little bit about me, got a little pressure off, maybe made you laugh, but set the tone. So you want to have some kind of icebreaker. It could be humor. It could be vulnerability. It could be anything. It could be short, but you want to have an icebreaker. Then you want to tell the people what it is you're going to be talking about. People in any presentation, people want to know where you're taking them. So today, right away, what was the first thing I said? We're going to do 10 steps about growing your business and influence. I'm going to have 2 bonus things at the end. Then we're going to have Q&A. So you can follow along where I'm going. Then you want number 3 is you want to deliver on that promise. So whatever I promised you guys today for $99, I hope I delivered on that promise plus some. And then 4 is you want to leave people with actionable takeaways. Now, I taught this in a program I have called the Calendar Club. It was about how to give a presentation and a strategy. And I broke it down into 4 buckets. So how to do an investor pitch, because that's not a speech, but there's a skill to that. How to give a sales presentation. That's a different kind of pitch. How to lead a business meeting, like an internal meeting. There's an art to that. And how to give a speech. So one thing I am going to do for everybody here. Oh, by the way, everybody here should have gotten how to write an email. Everyone should have got an email with a link on how to write a proper email. So if you didn't get, Kevin, can you put that in the chat? So anyone that didn't get that, the link will be in the chat on how to, it's free. It's just like before this call, it was like something you can do, and there it is. So that's a great little template on how to write a proper email. And I am launching a new program called Normal's Broken. So Normal's Broken is basically, if you do exactly what you're doing now, you're going to get the same results. So how do we think differently, plan differently, strategize differently? I'm launching it next month, at the end of next month. It's going to be a 6-video program that goes into everything from unrealistic thinking, which I'm a product of. As entrepreneurs, we have to think unrealistically. Ultraman, the race I just did, was a product of unrealistic thinking. Marquis Jet, I started a jet company with no airplanes. Unrealistic thinking. How do you think like that? And how do you turn that into fruition? So we're doing this course for anybody here that wants to join. It's going to be $397, but it's a 20% discount for the next 24 hours that anybody that wants, and this here only that wants to join. Kevin will put the link into that. But it's similar to this, what we just did today, but with 6 different videos specifically about doing things differently, how I eat, my planning. It's like basically my version of life mastery. And in that, there is this video, because I don't have the time today to go into how to do all 4 of those presentations. One of the videos is a video on elevator pitch, which I'll go over quickly, presentation, and elevator pitches and presentations. So I did a 1-hour webinar on that. It's really good. And we break it down into those buckets. There's also a video about with me and Sarah on our version of how Sarah built it, so anyone that's interested, there's a link there, and there's 20% off for the next 24 hours. So hopefully you'll join me for that. Here's the thing with an elevator pitch, and then we'll go to Q&A. The number one problem that I've seen, I get pitched all the time. There's multiple ways to do elevator pitches, right? If I'm a lifeguard and I meet, and I don't have a job, but I'm a certified lifeguard, and I meet the guy that runs the lifeguard program at Jones Beach, my elevator pitch is going to be very different looking for that job in 30 seconds than it is if I'm trying to close a deal with Coca-Cola or get a meeting with the president of Coca-Cola. Very different. There's a million ways to do it. The number one thing, two real important things. Keep it short. An elevator pitch means keep it under 30 seconds, 2 or 3 sentences. You should be able to pitch whatever it is you want, whatever you're selling, whatever you're offering in 2 or 3 sentences in 30 seconds or less. If you don't have that down cold and you own a business, if your entire team isn't aligned on that, call a meeting on Friday and make sure everybody has the same talk track. Okay? Keep it short. Number 2, my friend Turney Duff mentioned this to me today when we were brainstorming. When you're done with your short elevator pitch, the recipient should be able to visualize it in their brain. They should be able to see what you're talking about and envision it in your brain, in their brain, with that kind of clarity. By the way, Kevin Walker, I've been coming to Jones Beach since I'm 8 years old with my parents. Last year, most of my friends want to play in the NBA or be Michael Jordan. I want to be a lifeguard. And last year, I spent a year getting double certified in lifeguard, CPR, and all these other qualifications. And I can't believe I'm bumping into you. Here's my number. If you ever have a lifeguard that you need on short notice or you're hiring, whatever, please consider me. And if there's any way I could get in touch with you and stay in touch, I would love that. That's an elevator pitch for a job. If you're pitching a product or service, sell the solution to the problem you're solving. Most people make the mistake. I have a coconut water company. It is 18 milligrams of protein, 40, 50 milligrams of sodium. It's loaded in potassium. It's an unbelievable drink. That's the what. No one gives a shit about the what. Kevin, I started this coconut water company called Zico because when I was running, the only way to get coconut water was to get a coconut and cut the coconut open and then drink out of it. But there's a problem. I don't have a machete and I don't live in the friggin' Amazon. So we've created a way to take that experience and put it in a bottle. It's called Zico. And you get all the benefits of a coconut. And by the way, we have several celebrities that have signed up to be a part of it. And I would love to, this would be a great under the Coca-Cola portfolio because we're moving quickly. I'd love to talk to you more about it. Hell yeah. 2 weeks later, signed deal. Signed deal. Sell the solution to the problem you're solving. Bring it to life and talk about why you're uniquely positioned to do it. The problem, I don't live in the Amazon. I'm not cutting it down. The solution, we put it in a bottle. Why am I uniquely positioned? Because we have star power behind us and experts that are going to help us navigate this very challenging and complicated business. Make sense? All right, let's fire off some questions. That was 1 hour. Boom, to the minute. Bonus time. Let's do some questions. By the way, Normal is Broken, this course that we're doing, is the only course I'm doing for the year. It's this is like going to be my flagship course for the year. And I'm really excited about it. It's like going to be like a best practices. It's going to be like a newer version of my BYLR course, but better because you know what? In the last year, I've had to deal with grief. I've had to deal with my wife selling her company, which is a good thing. Kids getting, I just know more. The more you experience, the more you can offer people, man. And these are all learning experiences for me. And I study more. I study about an hour every day. I'm reading, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm learning, I'm expanding. You know, that Jason Bourne stuff I take to heart. I feel you want to write a book? I feel qualified to talk about it because I've written a book. You want to run an ultra marathon? I feel qualified. I've done it. You want to talk about raising money? I've done it. Businesses that have failed and dealing with, I've done it. Selling a business to a public company, done it. What do you want to talk about, man? The more you experience, the more you can share. So we're constantly updating. All right, Kev, fire away. We'll send a copy of this. I know people have to jump off. We'll send a copy of this replay to everybody as well tomorrow. Kevin, you want to field some questions?
Yeah, we got a lot of good questions in the chat. So I will I'll fire.
I prefer that we do it in the chat than raising hands, only because it'll be faster if I can just rattle them.
All right,
fire away.
When you first started your journey, how often did you write your goals down, affirmations? Did you do that at a young age, or what's the difference between then and now?
So I was never a big goal writer. See, goals to me are something that you want it. I don't believe, like, it's already done in my head. When I commit to something, it's done in my head. Now I just got to fill in the blanks. Ultraman was done the second I signed up. So like, it wasn't a goal. It was like, the best thing you can do to get a goal or whatever is just to commit to it. Sign up for a race, tell the world you're starting a business, put some pressure on your shoulders by having accountability, which is the public. So when I was young, I used to write goals down. The biggest mistake that I made is I wrote too many goals every year. And when it comes to goals, more isn't better, better's better. More isn't better, better's better. So bigger goals, deeper goals, better goals than having 10 different goals. Pick one or two big goals and knock them out. And that's what I've been doing lately. This year, ride my bike cross country.
All right. Great. Another question is, when you're repeatedly getting no's, when's the right time to maybe pull away from that, the pitching, and how do you approach that?
No. So, I mean, I don't, I learn, I get better. Listen, reps, the most important thing you can get in sales, speaking, pitching is reps. So to me, those no's are just more reps. Speaking, my first speech, like if you look back on it, it was like where it is now, it's so different. It was just reps. It takes me 50 reps to feel good under my feet when I give a speech. So those no's to me are just like, what do I need to tweak? But as far as like, when do I quit? I don't like the word quit. When I've exhausted all my options, if it's impacting my health, if it's impacting my finances, I'm not a bet the farm guy. If it's impacting my relationships. So like, I have this idea that I think the biggest thing I've ever done in my life is Marquis Jet. Okay. I have an idea that I think is bigger than Marquis Jet. And I told it to Sarah, and she said, that's an unbelievable idea. Don't do it. I was like, why? She's like, because it's going to change your life. You have to work till 2 a.m. and just because you have a good idea doesn't mean you have to do it. If it impacts your health, your family, your relationships, or risks a certain amount of money you're not comfortable with, those are red flags. Now, listen, everything I talked about, this is my take on it. That doesn't mean your take should be the same. I can only share from my perspective. Everybody here is unique and different. I don't know how much money you have or how much time you have, or if you're single, if you have kids, if you have elderly parents. Sometimes your goals choose you. If you have a parent that has Alzheimer's and you're supposed to ride your bike across America, but your mom or dad needs you, sometimes your goal picks you. And that's okay too. You don't always get to choose your goals. Sometimes they choose you. And you got to rise to the occasion for that too. Let that sink in. Go ahead, Kev.
I really like this question. How do you learn to be so caring?
My parents lived with a lot of enthusiasm and zest for life. They were very inclusive. I used to have people show up at my house, foreign exchange students. My dad worked at a company that brought in immigrants from Russia. They would show up at my house. My mom, there was just a lot of, we had a very open household. and I was always very enthusiastic. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe my parents, maybe I just, look, some people are hormonal and they have depression, they have chemical stuff. And I was very lucky that I haven't had any of that. I just try to stay positive, and I'm very aware of my own mortality, and like, I know that I'm not going to be here, man. Maybe I got 40 more years, but make me 99 almost, so I just try to make the most of it, every day. And I'm very aware of that. And I start my day when I wake up super thankful. I'm not like super religious, but I am spiritual, and I end my day super thankful. I bookend my days, and it helps me just get it back to where it needs to be.
Love that. All right, we got a question. What would you bring to investors when you're such a young company and the data numbers are so small?
You're the business plan. At the end of the day, if you're raising money or you're a young company, people are going to bet on you, and you have to sell you. I always tell people, man, you're the business plan. You are the business plan, not the spreadsheet, not the numbers. I mean, those have to check out. But at the end of the day, they have to believe. When I go back to, I have an unblemished track record of getting deals. And I really think it comes down to me. People wanted to be in business with me. And, I wasn't a great partner, but I was a really good partner, because human nature is for people to say, what's in it for me? That's human nature. And I've always been like, what's in it for you? What can I do that can make, Jane Doe's life better? Leslie Gillinson's life better. Hey, Leslie Gillinson. And that shows, I think that's just really important. You have to show the passion, and you have to make the potential investor or partner believe that even though I have no aviation experience, they can look me in the eye and know that, like, we're going to figure it out, and there's no way to fake that, man. I don't know how to say it other than the passion and the preparation and just laying it all out there and being vulnerable. And like, the best I can do is let somebody know, like I did at the beginning of the call, I'm going to do the best I can on this call, and the chips will fall where they're going to fall. And that's what I'm doing right now. It's like, and it's what I do in everything, man. Everything. Because if you start giving yourself that out, it starts to seep into other areas of your life. That's like that old quote, how you do anything is how you do everything. I really believe it's those little things, and I try to teach that to my kids as best as I can, because I want them to develop a mentality that, like, those little things matter. I had a situation with my son this weekend where I have an issue with my son. If he doesn't feel like he's the best at something, he's now not doing it. That is not good. And I certainly hope he didn't learn that from me. And he didn't want to go to soccer because he's on this team with his really good kids, and he's not, he's on the back of the pack in his head, and he didn't want to go. And it took like, I couldn't give him the out of quitting, because life doesn't work that way. So he got through it. He was crying, but he got through it, and he scored a goal. He's the only goal. And it's like a lot of lessons in that. He didn't even play that good, but like, don't give yourself an out just because things are hard, because then you're going to, like, I don't know if anyone's heard the story about my son who went to school, and he has anxiety, and they said that he can come home, that at the first day of school, he can come home after lunch. And then the next day he'll stay an extra hour, then an extra hour, until he can stay the whole day. And I was like, no chance does he come home. Zero chance are we letting him come home. Because if he thinks that it's that easy, he's going to be like, anything that goes wrong, he's like, I want to go home. So, you got to do a little bit of like, and it's tough parenting and tough decisions, but it goes for you too. That's why, like, I finished Ultraman, which is this crazy endurance race. It was really hard. And I wanted to quit 1,000 times. But 1,000 times in my life, I didn't quit. And because of that, I finished. So create wins. Put yourself in situations that are tough and grind it out. You know, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Intentionally challenge yourself. You know, sign up for a race with no experience and figure it out. Say, I'm going to go write a book and go figure it out. About 2 million people have done it before you. You can do it. Take a chance on something you've never done before and figure it out. No one was born knowing how to fly an airplane. Keep going, Kev.
All right. What do you think about what should be on a business card? Have you ever got one that was really good? Or what are your thoughts in general about business cards and brochures?
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, and I'll let everybody go. I want to be mindful of everybody's time. I haven't had a business card in 30 years, but let me change this. In the chat room, if you can, everyone, give me 4 minutes, and then we'll be out of here. 4 minutes. Tell me in the chat room what you guys do for a living. Matthew Drum, Nora Cohn, Todd Bellistri. In the chat room, restaurant owner, entrepreneur, DJ, real estate, life coach, accountant, entrepreneur, product manager, tech engineer. Good, good. Insurance. Okay. All right, I got it. I got acupuncturist. Great. What if you did this? Let me leave you with this. Instead of telling me that you're a teacher, if I asked you, what do you do for a living? And you said, I'm a teacher. What if instead of saying teacher, your answer was, I change young kids' lives? What if you were a plumber and you told me, I fix things that are unfixable in people's homes to make their life better? What if you were an investment advisor and you say, I give people financial security for the rest of their life? What if you were a wellness consultant and you say, I help people live longer and feel more vibrant? Change the story of what you're doing. Everybody says I'm a lawyer. Everybody says I'm a founder. Everybody says I'm an acupuncturist. I give people the gift of health. Change the story, man. Change the way that's what Normal's Broken is about. Change the way your narrative. Bring what you do to life. Not one person did that. Look in the chat room. Look in the chat room. CEO, private equity entrepreneur, research, pension consultant, success coach, Atlanta pizza truck, Aflac, love Aflac, dental tech sales, renovation. You're a trainer? No, you're not a trainer. I help people get strong and live longer. Change the narrative. You want to write a business card? Bring it to life. The whole point of this call. Think differently. Take a chance. Stand out. Rip up the playbook. Rip up the damn playbook, man. And do it the way you would do it if no one taught you how to do it. If no one told you how to make a business card, Matthew Drum, how would you make your business card? Would you make it colorful? Would you have graffiti on it? Would you have a chart of how many years people can live and say, I help people live? How would you do it? Make that card a statement. That's how I would make my business card. I'll send the replay to everybody tomorrow. Thank you for joining. If you want to post clips of this or DM it, whatever, I'll put it up on Instagram, DM me so I can share it or tag me so I can repost it. I got an ego. I love getting a tap on the back. And thank you for spending an hour and 16 minutes with me today. I hope you guys benefited from this. I did. I love doing this, man. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do it. And hopefully I'll see you on, Kev, you could post the link to Normal's Broken again. If anybody wants to join, 20% off. It's probably about thousands of dollars. I mean, I don't even, whatever, man. Hope you join it. And I'll see you guys on social media, wherever I see you at a speech. And thank you for joining me, man. Thank you.